Hey guys, this is Brian with Inspiring How You See That, and we have a brand new segment today, and we're actually going to call this Salute to Service. We have our friend Corey Taylor, a U.S. Marine Staff Sergeant. Corey, thank you so much for having us here today.
No problem. It's a pleasure having you all.
Absolutely, and we just want to take this time to talk with you about your service. First of all, thank you for everything you've done for us.
It's a pleasure to serve. It was really more of an honor to serve. Like, anytime people say, thank you for your service, I'm like, it's more of an honor to serve than anything.
Absolutely. Now, how long have you been in the service?
So I did 4.5 years in the Marine Corps, and then I got out and did 6 years in the Army National Guard here in Ohio.
Okay.
So got out as an E6, which was a nice little tour. And first 4.5 years in the Marines, I was stationed at Marine Barracks 8th and I in Southeast DC, and I did presidential support for the Clinton administration. And then did that for about a year, and then tried out for the All-Marine Wrestling team and ended up making the team and did that for 3.5 years. So it was nice tour.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Met a lot of great guys that I actually still keep in contact with today.
Sure. Yeah, there's that brotherhood that you always hear about, that never ends.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody asks, like, you always hear people, I'd never do it again, but it's one of those deals where you would never do it again, but I would totally do it again. It's more the stories you tell now. Like, as you're going through it, you never do it again. But once you're done and you're looking back and you're meeting your friends and you're talking about the trips and the stuff that we got to do in Siege, we just laugh.
Sure.
Full out, 24/7 laughing. And it's ironic because I'm actually on a group text and they started texting me today and I didn't even tell them we were doing this. So, but yeah, we always contact. We're always talking. Of course, now with technology and Facebook, it's kind of hard not to lose track of people now.
Exactly. Now, when you first joined the military, what was the thing, or what were maybe some of the things that kind of pushed you into that path?
Was going down the wrong path. A lot of stuff wasn't going my way, and I didn't know. I was right out of high school. I didn't know if I wanted to go to college. I got accepted into college, but I didn't know if that's what I really wanted to do. And some stuff going on, personal stuff going on with my family, not my family, but my parents at the time, and it was one of those where my mom had remarried and then moved to Ohio, and they were like, my mom's like, come live with me. My dad was like, stay living with me. You felt like you're getting pulled in two different directions. You didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
So one day, my best friend from high school knocked on my door. I think it was like on a Thursday or a Tuesday, and he's like, it was on a Tuesday. I just got done working nights at a factory, and he's like, I was 20. He's like, do you want to join the military or Marines? And I go, yeah. So
sure, why not?
Went and talked to the recruiter that day, and we were gone the following Thursday. So it was one of those, probably wasn't my first choice, but man, I really don't know where I'd be right now or how successful I'd be in my normal everyday life. It wasn't if I didn't do that and learn from and taken away from the values and just the work ethic I got from being in the military.
Yeah. Now, kind of touch a little bit more on that. You bring up a good point with the work ethic. And I think in today's society, that's unfortunately kind of lacking.
Right.
So what specifically are some of the things that you learned being in the Marine Corps?
Well, one thing is you can always have a plan, but you can only control that plan, right? There's all kinds of other factors outside of that plan that can affect that outcome. And one thing is you just have to overcome and adapt. My normal everyday job, they're always changing everything, and a lot of other employees, they freak out and they're like, this is horrible. I'm like, my boss, he always commends, I'm like, it's got to overcome and adapt. I'm like, I can only control what I can control.
Right.
So I just look at that. I'm like, okay, well, now I need to shift gears and I got to figure out what I need to do to be successful. And since I was successful now and they took that away, now what else can I do? You just overcome and adapt on all that stuff.
Sure, absolutely. Now, from a leadership standpoint, how has military life prepared you for civilian life in that aspect?
You deal with a lot of personalities, right? Like, you get people that maybe wanted to join the military. You get people that maybe that wasn't their first chops, and like me, get some people that maybe court ordered to join the military. It's always something. Different backgrounds, different personalities, different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
We had one guy that came over from South Africa, was in our platoon. He got his citizenship and wanted to join the military. First time he ever ate with a knife and fork.
Oh, wow.
It was unreal. And me coming from a small town in Jackson, Missouri, it was my first. I was like, really? His name was. I remember one of the few people I remember at boot camp. His name was Takiba. I'm like, very broken English, but he just wanted to be. He wanted to be, an American citizen,
Sure.
which he was now. But he wanted to really, if he was going to get all the. He said, if I'm going to get all the benefits, I want to put in my time, which.
That's awesome.
I blew. Nowadays people staying on deployment forever.
Right.
But it was amazing. First time he ever ate with a knife and fork, and he was getting 3 meals a day. But you deal with different personalities, different backgrounds, different from other countries. You learn how not everybody learns and takes criticism the same way.
Sure.
So you have to learn that, and that helps with being in a leadership position where maybe this person doesn't take hard criticism. Maybe this person you have to jump in their stuff.
Right.
And they respond
really
quick.
Kick them in the butt.
Right. But this person, you got to constantly do positive reinforcement. You learn that stuff, but there's also some growing pains because you headbutt a lot until you learn those different personalities.
Sure.
So, and I'm the same way. I mean, what pleases me is different. So different personalities that come at me different ways. You could rub someone the wrong way, and then you get that initial impression, and you could have a bad initial impression, but after a while you get to know that person, then you end up becoming your best friend.
Sure.
So
nice. Now, if a young man or woman came to you now, let's say they're in their senior year of high school, and they're thinking,
this was asked me last week. I think I know where you're going with this. But it was if it was my kids.
Yes. So if they're coming to you and asking you for advice, and they're thinking of joining the military, and what would be some advice that you would give them?
There's 4 branches, technically 5. It's 5 branches. There's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and then the Coast Guard.
And Space Force.
And now Space Force. Yeah, there is. That's true. 6. I forgot about Space Force. I would just say, do your research. They all offer something different. Me, I'm not gonna lie, joined the Marines because I thought the uniforms were the coolest. We had one guy join the Marines because he got free dog tags. Filled out a thing for free dog tags. Next thing you know, we'll give you free dog tags. You got to go to boot camp to get them. But
not really free at that point.
No. What I always, looking back now, if I had it to do over again, I'd probably do more research, and whatever job I wanted to do when I retire, maybe.
Okay.
I would try to associate that job with what I could do in the military to get that.
So your MOS.
Yeah. The job training for that. What a lot of people don't understand is there are so many educational benefits going into the military. I know, and like if you're from Illinois, as long as you did 4 years active service and got out honorably, the state of Illinois at this time would pay 100% of your college tuition, but you'd have to go to a university in the state of Illinois.
Okay, gotcha.
In Ohio, if you join the Ohio Army National Guard or the Ohio Air National Guard, they would pay your full college tuition in an in-state. So I got to go to Ohio State for free.
Nice.
And I still got to I used my Montgomery GI Bill for schooling and everything. So I basically got a 4-year degree from The Ohio State University and didn't pay 1 penny.
Oh, so you could use that for books, fees, all that.
Books, fees. I used it for books, fees, rent, everything.
Nice.
And I worked a job that I could go to school, that allowed me to go to school. So that would check out the educational benefits. If you know you're going to retire from the military, then do whichever one you want. Mm-hmm. Whichever one you think you're going to be the best at, or you're going to have the most fun at. But more than likely, I'd say do the one that maybe if you you want to do this job when you get out, but maybe college isn't in the cards for you right now. Go do that. At least you're going to get paid. You're going to get a retirement.
Sure.
And you're going to get on-job training.
Absolutely. Now, looking back from when you started until now, what do you think is probably the one thing that stands out as the most important thing that you learned through your military service?
You cannot control what happens around you. That is probably, you can plan and plan and plan. even in today, like I always plan on trips, but that trip never goes the way you
Right.
think. Your car's going to break down, something's going to happen, you get sick, whatever. But no matter what, always expect the unexpected.
Sure.
That's probably the biggest thing is, anything you do, it's not going to go the way as planned. You can plan and prepare and plan and prepare. You better also plan for stuff not going wrong. So, and everybody always laughs at me anytime I go on a trip. I'm always overpacking because I'm like, my philosophy is I'd rather have and not need than need and not have.
Sure.
So,
now, what do you think was the biggest difference when you served both in the Marine Corps and the Army National Guard?
mm-hmm.
What was probably the biggest difference between the two?
So the Ohio Army National Guard, I actually did military stuff. Like we did our 2 weeks training. We did actual military stuff. When I was in the Marine Corps, the first year I was at Marine Barracks 8th and we were more of a ceremonial unit.
Okay.
It was non-deployable, so I didn't have to ever worry about getting deployed. But we did a lot of like the Tuesday night parades, the Thursday night parades. They're all, when people come to visit DC, they can go and at the Iwo Jima Memorial for the Tuesday night sunset parades. We would have the silent drill platoon. We would do that stuff. We would also, but our main mission was to presidential support. So, I had to wear my uniform. I was always in either dress blues or everything had to be, inspection every day.
Pristine.
Yep. But then once I got on the wrestling team, my job was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'd have to be at the gym for morning workouts, and then I'd go home, I'd eat, take a nap, I'd have to be back at the gym for afternoon workouts. We'd only practice twice in the morning, or 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, and then on Wednesdays, we'd work out in the morning, but then we'd have the afternoon off. And my uniform then was t-shirt and shorts. And
Gotcha.
we could get a little laxed on our hair. We still had to maintain the regulations, but we could be a little more relaxed, because then we were used as a recruiting tool, and we would go to we would travel all over the world and compete and wrestle. Our main goal was to try and make it a world or an Olympic team. That was our main goal, but it was also used as a recruiting tool to go to high schools and do stuff for recruiters all over the United States.
Sure.
And then, but once I got here in Ohio and joined the Ohio Army National Guard, it was more of, now it's strategical and you're doing more military operations for both state and federal.
Excellent. And then one more question that just came up. Through your military service, what surprised you more than anything that you learned about yourself?
So I was always bullied in high school. Not bullied to the fact that I was never stuffed in a locker or beat up or anything, but I was always the shortest and smallest.
Sure.
But, and people tease you and pick on you. And it was always I want to say, now, probably nowadays it'd be called bullying. But then to me, it was playful hazing or teasing or whatever. But it did get to me. But once I got on the wrestling, or once I got in the military and I started doing all this stuff that a lot of people first said I wouldn't make it in the military. And I started proving everybody wrong, and then I started proving myself, I can do this.
Yep.
It's not a bad thing. I can do this. And then I started now, before when people would talk down to me, and I would used to take it and let it just kind of roll off my back. Now I'm snapping back at people, and I don't want to call it Napoleon syndrome, but
defending yourself.
I was defending myself, and I have no problem now. Not saying I didn't take a lot of butt whoopings along the way, but I've gained a lot of respect too.
Sure.
And then people, I've noticed now that I've gotten older and throughout that people talk to me more with respect, and
sure.
And you don't get talked down to nearly. You still have some of those people, but once you stand your ground, then they kind of get back down to your level.
Oh yeah, bullies back down.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome lesson for anybody watching, is that no matter what, you have it in yourself.
Absolutely.
And just challenge yourself. Don't be afraid of that challenge. And I think you'll be amazed at what comes through.
You're way more. One thing I've learned is, and it's with the military and wrestling, your physical person, mentally and physically, we are built to really endure a lot of suffering. So I use the term, or I've heard actually Coach Ryan use the term, and they embrace the suffering.
Mm-hmm.
That your mentality, you can really put yourself, and your body is capable of going through a lot of adversity and you coming out just fine, if not stronger, on the other side.
Excellent. Now, a couple things before we leave. We've got something interesting here. You were
Yeah.
telling me about it before we started, and I want to start before we actually get into the bottle itself. These really cool glasses that you have, the Second Amendment.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about these.
My buddy that I work with told me about these. He sent me the link. He's like, check these out. Do you want some? I'm like, absolutely. So you can find them on Amazon, and you can also find them on, I think the website's called Grunt Style. They actually have these, and they actually have a infinity glass or a flask.
Nice.
That I have another one. I think it's either got a 308, but it also might have the 5.52 in there, or the 5.56 round in there, but it's got a bullet round in there. But they have the Second Amendment. On this one, it actually has the Second Amendment engraved on there, but this one is the Second Amendment, but it's also the Stars and Stripes.
Nice.
So I just thought it was, with the bottle and everything, it's a nice little touch.
Very cool. And now go ahead and tell us about the story. You were telling me about the bottle itself.
So,
and by the way, this is delicious.
Yes, it is very good. Smooth. I drink it on the rocks. I always feel wrestling, if I'm going to drink something, I need to be cold and not warm. But yeah, I love this. It's really smooth. Now, I actually learned about this bottle, believe it or not, when the pandemic happened. My nieces introduced me to TikTok. So I follow the bourbon TikTok guy.
Okay.
And he actually told me about this. So again, I haven't done research, but from what I understand, he knows his stuff. So apparently, after 9/11 and the World Trade Centers was attacked, this group of Green Berets went in, and I think they were either trying to get Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein. I can't remember who they were going to look after, but in Iraq and Afghanistan, there's mountains everywhere, and really the only way to get in there was through horseback. They actually made a movie about it.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it's called I can't remember what it's called, the movie, but
I remember the guy who played Thor was in it.
yeah, that guy's in there. So those Green Berets, they're now retired, and they started a distillery, and it's called the Horse Soldier Distillery, and this is actually the least expensive of the bottles, but the actual plate, the metal plate that's on the front of the bottle, I was told, is from the World Trade Center. It's from metal from the World Trade Center.
Okay.
But
it's kind of coming full circle.
Yeah, and I think they have like 3 different strengths or proofs, and obviously this is the least expensive one, but it's really good. And I think you can get it now in Ohio. At the time, I knew it was only available that I found in New York. And I had a buddy that was in New York, and he's like, "Hey, if I see anything, what do you want me to find?" And that was the first thing I sent him. I Googled it, and I scanned him a screenshot. And I'm like, "If you see this, pick me up this." So.
Nice. So that's a really cool story, and it does taste good. And we'll go ahead and we'll put links below. So if you guys are interested, make sure that you can get that, because it's phenomenal to be able to support something like that.
Right.
And not only is it a great product, but a good cause as well.
And I always try anything. If I ever see anything online that comes across and it's veteran owned, I always try to.
Absolutely.
Like the next thing I'm getting ready to order is, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I keep seeing a lot of their ads come up, is that Black Rifle coffee.
Yep.
And I'm getting ready to order some of that, so just to have some around the house.
Sure. One other thing before we end this segment, and kind of thinking of this barrel.
Oh yeah.
You've gotten into some woodworking and some barrel.
I have. This is just the one I haven't. It's just a plain barrel, but I can make these into to bars. I've made a couple. I do sell them. I can actually do a graphic on the front. I've done, people's initials. I've done sayings on the top, but I cut out the top, and I can even put lights in them. I'm a rookie, so I make them to order. I don't have like a stockpile in there. Sure. I make them to order. So if anybody's interested, they can just reach out to me and let me know what you want. I do other things. I can send them pictures of some other stuff I've made.
Okay.
It's all just sitting in there, just waiting for a nice home.
So again, we'll get your information. We'll put the link so if people are interested. Maybe Kevin and I will get a inspiring how you see that bar made. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's on my TikTok.
There you go. Well, Corey, thank you again so much. And what we're going to do, we're actually going to have another segment where we're going to go a little bit more in depth into your wrestling career.
Yep, I've started wrestling at a young age, but late in a young age. Like a lot of people start when they're 5 or 6. I started wrestling as a sophomore in high school.
Sure.
And then just kind of carried me on, and even to this day, I still go and volunteer my time with a buddy. He has a wrestling club up in northern Minnesota, nice. And I always go help him and and volunteer and help him with his camps wherever he's at.
Nice. So make sure you keep an eye out for that one, because that's going to be interesting. We're going to go more in depth than that.
That's a lot. That's really more of my passion.
Excellent. So we're looking forward to that.
Perfect.
But again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Corey, before we end this segment, is there anything else you'd like to tell viewers?
Oh no, just you can only control what you can control.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Again, thank you for your service.
You.
Cheers. And as always, thank you guys so much. Make sure you check out everything that Corey's doing. It's going to be amazing. We love you all. God bless, and rock on.